Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll take a look at a motherboard which is a little bit older and is a previous generation, but for some of you out there this may be an absolute godsend because, as we know, RAM is ridiculously expensive at the moment, and potentially you might have some DDR4 knocking around, or you might still be able to pick up some at relatively good prices. Everything's relative at the moment, but certainly January 2026 DDR4 is a lot more obtainable than it is with DDR5, especially if you go into the used market. So this is where this motherboard is going to be particularly valuable to some people, especially if you're struggling to build a gaming computer or just a work PC, whatever it needs to be. This is the Gigabyte B550 Eagle Wi-Fi 6. This is a pretty modern board in terms of their product range and their product cycles. So this comes out of the box with Ryzen 5000 series support, as you would pretty much expect. It's actually very hard to get this particular model in an older version, which doesn't support the latest processors. So this should be good straight away out of the box for pretty much any processor. I would strongly suggest, if you are looking for a CPU, maybe take a look at AliExpress. Their Ryzen 5700 X3Ds are really good value for money. Excellent performance and very similar to something along the lines of a Ryzen kind of 7500F, the 7600 maybe at a push. So potentially you can make yourself a nice little powerful platform with this particular motherboard, and it's relatively inexpensive at somewhere around the £100 mark here in the UK at the time of recording. I actually bought this one off of eBay using our eBay Discord bot, which got me a fantastic deal, and I paid considerably less than £100 for it. So it all looks like it's all been basically brand new. It's just sold off by one of those kind of larger retailers that just gets rid of pallets and pallets of stuff. And yeah, I picked up a bargain, and potentially you could too. You're more than welcome to use our Discord eBay bot. It does pick some fantastic goods up that are very cheap for people in the UK and Ireland. Not so much for US customers, unfortunately. We are working on that. But yeah, if you're looking for a bargain, that's a good place to start off with. But with all that said, today's video we're going to do an unboxing on this board, see what it's all about, and give you some recommendations and see if it's going to be suitable for your next budget-orientated build. So let's start off first of all with the packaging. So this is the Gigabyte Eagle B550 Wi-Fi 6 running on the AMD B550 chipset. And as I've said already, this is Ryzen 5000 series ready out of the box, which is awesome. So you don't have to do BIOS flashes, etc. Although we have done a separate video on that if you're interested. On the back of the box, go over some of the key features. So it's got a 10 plus 3-phase digital twin power design for the VRMs. You also got 1 gigabit LAN with bandwidth management. You also got a DIY friendly design on the PCI Express latch. Nice and easy to remove your graphics cards. And it's also got a new updated Wi-Fi antenna, which is a single pole with the push fit connectors, which is excellent. And also on the box gives you some idea of the specifications. Inside the box, regarding accessories, not a great deal here, but we'll go through what you have. So there are a couple of SATA connections. You have a I/O shield. Don't forget to install that before you put your motherboard in, because otherwise that's a real pain taking it all back out. You also got that antenna, which I mentioned. So a single push fit antenna for your Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth. You've got some M.2 spacers, and also there is a single M.2 screw. I'm pretty sure there should have been 2 screws, but there was only 1 in the box, so not the end of the world. Drives generally these days, a lot of them do come with an additional screw anyway, but would have been nice if that had some sort of quick release mechanism, but we'll take a look at that a little bit later. You also got some manuals. You've got the regulatory information and a quick start guide, which is kind of useless really. Most of it is online via a QR code. Although, if you want to see how to build a computer, there are many videos online to show you how to do such a thing. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the board itself. We'll do a tour, go around, show you all the features, connections, etc. Then obviously you can make up your mind whether or not this is going to be suitable for you. So we'll start off in the top left-hand corner. So in here we have a PWM plug and also a single 8-pin EPS connection, which is going to be absolutely fine for pretty much any processor you plan to put on here. So that's all good. Obviously, as you can see, the ports are somewhat naked. There's no captive I/O shield on there. As we saw, you do have to put an I/O shield in, which is a little bit of a downside, but isn't the end of the world. We've also got some nice heat sinks over the VRM, so that's a 10 plus 3 setup. It's actually a dual bank, so it's 2 banks of 5 doubled up plus the 3. You've also got your AM4 socket in the middle, so this is going to support pretty much most processors which are available on the market. You can get away with using some older ones, such as the 2000 series, although they're not officially supported. Official support on this starts at the Ryzen 3000 series. You've also got the 4000 series and the 5000 series. If you're going with the standards models, then you're going to get up to PCI Express Gen 4. If you go for the Ryzen G series, the ones with integrated graphics, you're going to be looking at PCI Express Gen 3 pretty much throughout. Moving on, so we've got two headers here for the CPU fan and CPU fan optional, so you can use that for connecting up maybe an AIO, that sort of thing. All of the ports are both PWM and DC controlled, and you can control them all in the BIOS, or alternatively, you can install the Gigabyte Control Center, which is actually really good. We've done videos on that. You can set up your fans very easily. You can name them, show them where they are on the PC. Very nice piece of software, works very well now, much better than it was previously. You've also got a couple of RGB connections at the top here. So you've got a 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB and a 4-pin 12-volt RGB. So caters for both there. Moving down, 24-pin main power socket. Then you've got a couple of SATA ports, 2 there. There's also 2 towards the lower section as well. Moving back up to the RAM slots, so we've got 4 RAM slots. So that is going to support up to 128 gigabytes of RAM if you can afford it. And as a default, it will support XMP speeds up to 3200 megatransfers per second. Obviously, depending on your setup and your RAM, you can probably get it much higher than that. I've seen these go up to maybe like 47, 33 megahertz, that sort of era. Obviously, you're going to do a little bit of tweaking and tuning. You might be lucky and get it to XMP straight in, but yeah, realistically, it's going to be fine for 3200, 3600. It's going to be an absolute breeze on this setup. Moving down, got the B550 chip there with a nice Gigabyte heatsink on it. And you've got your CMOS battery there, CR2032, nice and easy to remove should you need to. Just flip that down, take your battery out, and you can reset the CMOS that way should you wish to. There is also a CMOS reset pin there at the bottom, just by the front I/O, which we'll take a look at shortly. I think we should take a look at the PCI Express and the M.2 slots, so you've got an idea of what is going on there. So we'll start off with the M.2 slots. So first of all, you've got this one at the top, so PCI Express Gen 4x4 support. Obviously, we'll go slower as well if you need to, or depending on your processor. If you're using a G series processor, then this is going to default down to PCI Express Gen 3. If you're using just a normal 3000, 4000, or 5000 chip, or the X variants, this will be PCI Express Gen 4. Also, lower down, you've got another M.2 slot. So this is PCI Express Gen 3x4. For normal processors, G series is going to clock that down a little bit lower, so do bear that in mind. Not the most amount of M.2 slots on here, but I think 2 for a B550 is pretty much normal these days. Very rarely you get 3. 2 is generally the base configuration. So you've got the top one, which runs off the CPU, and the bottom one, which runs off the chipset. Going to the actual PCI Express slots, so at the top here, PCI Express Gen 4 x 16 with that nice, easy, quick release latch there for making removal or installation of GPUs that little bit easier. Again, if you're using a G series, that's going to be clocked down to PCI Express Gen 3, so do bear that in mind for your graphics card slot. The other slots, you've got 4 slots there, all of which are the x 16 sized, but only wired for x1. And you've got 4 of those. Those are all going to be running PCI Express Gen 3x1. So these are going to be fine for things like capture cards, possibly. Another port, SATA ports, that sort of stuff, if you want to use any of that stuff. Most people will never populate these at all. And you don't actually need to for Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, because that is integrated already, which is excellent. So that's pretty much it for the M.2 and also PCI Express. Let's take a look at the I/O at the bottom. So starting on this side, we've got your front panel connections, color coded and labeled up, nice and easy to use. And again, you've got the CMOS reset just above it, nice and easy to get to. You've got a USB Type-C port there, 10 gigabit per second. Then you've got your USB 3, 5 gigabit per second, the Type A ports, that one there. Next up, you've got a pair of USB 2.0 headers. Then you've got a TPM header, another fan header. Then you've got a pair of RGB connections. So you've got 12 volt RGB and 3 volt addressable RGB. Then finally along the end there, you've got your front panel audio connection, and then you've got your audio circuitry and chips and capacitors in that corner. And that is pretty much it, other than there is, just at the top here, there is also another PWM header and also a 12 volt RGB. This is ideally going to be for connecting up the kind of older Wraith series Prism coolers, or 12 volt RGB. That is kind of like a throwback from the B450 range. But all in all, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PWM headers, which I think is pretty much enough for a B550 board. Let me know what you think in the comments. Moving around to the back, so we'll take a look at the rear I/O. So starting off in the top section, you've got 4 USB 2.0s in total, and also in between there you've got your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna connection. There is actually like an M.2 removable card there, so if you want to swap it out for a faster one at a later date, you potentially could do. So that's pretty cool. You've also got an HDMI output, so if you are using a APU in here, such as something like the, I don't know, 5600G, that type of thing, 5700G, then you can use that for your HDMI outputs. You've also then got 2 10 gigabit ports, one type C and one type A. Next to that, BIOS flashback button for flashing the BIOS should you need to. If you have, for some reason, a chip which isn't supported directly off the board, which is pretty unlikely, but it's always handy to have. Next to that, you've got 2 blue color-coded USB 3.0 5 gigabit per second ports. Above that, you've got Realtek LAN, which is a gigabit with bandwidth control as well. And then you've got your audio inputs and outputs there. So you've got microphone at the bottom, you've got your headset or speakers there, and also your line level in the blue. So that is pretty much it. Not really a lot of frills or anything on here. It's got pretty much everything that you would want. It's got a 4-layer PCB, you've got a 10+3 VRM, you've got Wifi6 included, you've got quite a few PWM ports, 4 slots for your RAM, a couple of M.2 slots, and also a heatsink over one of them. Yeah, it is pretty much what you'd expect to see at a kind of lower end board. So this is the Eagle range, which is positioned towards the lower end of the stack. For Gigabyte, you've got kind of like your Pros and your Ultra Durables, and then you've got the Eagle, which is just slightly above the Ultra Durable. I think these are great boards. It's a very neutral palette on there, so it's kind of black, grey and silver, so it should fit in with most builds, I think, and also pretty easy to build with. Obviously, make sure you install your I/O shield before you put your motherboard in, because that is a real faff otherwise. But yeah, otherwise I think this is a great little board. I've actually been testing this with a Ryzen 5 5600, which also I picked up on AliExpress very, very cheaply. And yeah, it runs like an absolute champ. You install Windows on it, Windows 11 support straight out of the box. The Gigabyte Control Center tries to automatically load straight away for drivers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a very user-friendly board and comes in at a relatively user-friendly price. And also can use somewhat user-friendly RAM wherever I put it. I've hidden it already. There we go. You can use your DDR4 RAM, which is a little bit more easily available than DDR5. So potentially if you're looking to build a new system in 2026, and you're looking for a inexpensive board to do it on to get yourself up and running, I think this is definitely well worth a shout. But let me know what you think about it in the comments section. I think it's pretty decent. And again, if you want to discuss it in any more depth, feel free to join our Discord, or if you want any kind of technical support, feel free to head over there just for a chat or whatever you want to do. Just kick back, relax, and enjoy your time with other tech-minded nerds. I think that's going to pretty much wrap this one up. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.